When I look back, I see how every change in my life began with a simple decision. It's funny to think about it now, but I remember being rejected 10 times by Harvard University and even more times by ordinary jobs. One day, while walking through the streets of Hangzhou, I realized that continuing to complain about my luck wouldn't change anything. I needed to do something different. That's when I decided that, instead of waiting for the right moment, I would create my own opportunities. That decision was the first brick in building what the world now knows as Alibaba. A true decision has a power that we often underestimate. It's like a stone thrown into a lake. Its ripples spread and transform everything around it. Ask yourself, if I continue like this, where will I be in 10 years? The answer might scare you, but it's also the spark you need. Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. But deciding isn't just about saying, I want to change. It's about closing the door on excuses. When I founded Alibaba, we had no money, no technology, and no ready-made business models. We had only determination and a dream. I knew that if I wanted to change my reality, I had to change my mindset. As I like to say, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. That phrase followed me through every moment of doubt. Of course, fear always tries to pull you back. It whispers that it's safer to stay where you are. But let me tell you a secret. Comfort is one of the biggest enemies of growth. Imagine that your current life is like an old bicycle you keep fixing. It might work, but it'll never take you far enough. The decision to trade that bike for something better is the beginning of your reinvention. Making the decision to change is like opening the first page of a blank book. You don't know what's coming, but you know it's your chance to write something extraordinary. And the most amazing part? You don't need to know the ending now. All you need to do is take the first step. Taking the decision to change is like laying the foundation of a new house. But without a plan, that house won't stand. When I started Alibaba, I didn't know exactly how to succeed, but I knew I needed a plan, even if it was simple. I wrote down everything I wanted to achieve in the first few months. Understanding the internet, finding the right people, and convincing customers to trust us. Having a plan is what kept us standing, even when it felt like the ground was collapsing. A 6-month plan is like a map for your future. Imagine yourself at the top of a mountain looking down. Things seem complicated, but you know you can climb step by step. Break your goals into smaller, more practical parts. Ask yourself, what can I do today to get a little closer to what I want to achieve tomorrow? This is how we turn seemingly unreachable goals into real achievements. The most powerful part of a plan isn't just in following it, but in adapting it when necessary. When we launched Alibaba, we faced so many uncertainties that it was impossible to predict what would work or not. I used to tell my team, if we fail, we'll change quickly. If we succeed, we'll move even faster. Don't be afraid to adjust your route as you move forward. The important thing is to keep moving. Visualizing your goals also helps maintain focus. Many people don't know this, but I used to hang boards in my office with phrases that reminded me of our objectives. Maybe you prefer a journal or even modern apps to manage tasks, but the important thing is to see your progress. This creates a connection between you and your dreams, something that cannot be ignored. A plan is much more than a to-do list. It's the manifestation of the future you desire. When you write your goals and organize your actions, you're literally telling the universe, I'm ready for whatever comes. It's not about having all the answers now, but about being willing to start with the right questions. Because execution is what transforms a plan into a vibrant reality. When I decided that technology would shape the future, I realized I needed to learn something completely new. At the time, I was just an English teacher in Hangzhou and didn't know how to program. But I didn't let that stop me. Instead of trying to compete with engineers, I focused on what I could offer: communication, leadership, and vision. The secret isn't in being good at everything, but in excelling at what truly matters. As I like to say, when you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. Learning a new skill is like planting a seed. At first it seems small and insignificant, but with patience and practice, it grows into something that can change your life. Maybe you want to learn public speaking, understand digital marketing, or even master a new language. The initial discomfort is just the cost of growth, but every day of practice brings you closer to your maximum potential. I remember clearly how I had to dive into the unknown. When we started Alibaba, My team and I spent days reading articles and exploring the limited internet resources available at the time. Constant learning became our differentiator. And do you know the best part? It's not about learning everything at once, but about starting with small steps. A single online course, a book, or a video, everything counts. Each skill you develop is like a tool in your backpack, ready to be used when needed. Imagine that instead of waiting for opportunities to come to you, you are prepared to create them. That's what learning something new does. It transforms your confidence and possibilities. You stop being a spectator and become the creator of your destiny. The truth is, the skill you learn today could be the bridge to the life you want tomorrow. So choose something aligned with your goals and invest time in it. You don't need to master everything at once, but daily progress adds up. And before you know it, you'll be building the foundation for something extraordinary. When I decided to take the leap into entrepreneurship, I realized something liberating. The worst-case scenario was simply going back to where I started. At the time, I was an English teacher earning a modest income. Even if I failed, I knew I would not be any worse off than before. This perspective gave me the courage to try without fearing failure. What do you have to lose? I often remind myself. Life's floor isn't as low as we imagine. Your current situation is your safety net, not a trap. Think about it. What's stopping you from chasing something bigger? The fear of failure? The judgment of others? But once you accept that the life you want to leave behind is your baseline, everything changes. Suddenly, the possibility of reaching higher feels less daunting and much more achievable. I like to think of this as a mental reset. Too often, people overestimate the risks of trying something new and underestimate the risks of staying the same. When we launched Alibaba, we had no money, no resources, and no technology. Yet we dared to dream because we knew that the only way to go was up. That mindset empowered us to act boldly, even when the odds seemed stacked against us. This shift in perspective is like unlocking a door you didn't realize was there. It removes the invisible barriers that keep you stuck. Once you see that your worst isn't that bad, you stop fearing it. The energy you once spent worrying about what might go wrong can now be focused on what can go right. That's a game changer. Every great leap forward begins with understanding where you truly stand. Knowing your baseline isn't a limitation, it's a foundation. And from that foundation, you can build something extraordinary without the weight of fear holding you back. Taking the leap feels like jumping into an ocean without knowing how to swim. It's terrifying, exhilarating, and necessary. I remember the first few weeks of starting Alibaba. It was chaos. We worked from a small apartment, constantly doubting ourselves, but we kept going. Like an airplane taking off, it took immense energy at the beginning, but soon we found our rhythm. Persistence, not talent, is what kept us in the air. The truth is, change is rarely comfortable. The initial stages are filled with challenges, from building new habits to facing uncertainty. But if you stick with it long enough, you'll notice something magical. The process starts working for you. Like an athlete building endurance, every step gets easier, and every effort compounds. Persistence isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. In the early days of Alibaba, we had more failures than successes. I often told my team, if we fail 100 times, we'll find 101 ways to improve. It's this mindset that turns obstacles into stepping stones. The key is to focus on small victories. They are the fuel for your long-term goals. Momentum is your ally. Once you've pushed through the hardest part, you'll find yourself coasting. It doesn't mean the challenges disappear, but you'll have the strength and resilience to handle them. Think of persistence as planting seeds. The harvest may take time, but it will come if you keep watering them. Taking the leap is scary, but it's also what separates dreamers from doers. Persist through the discomfort and chaos, and you'll discover a version of yourself you never knew existed. Every day you push forward is a day closer to the extraordinary life you've envisioned. When you decide to change your life, not everyone will celebrate your decision. I've seen this firsthand. Some of my friends questioned my ambition, calling it unrealistic. Others doubted I could build something as ambitious as Alibaba. But I quickly learned that surrounding myself with people who share my vision was essential for growth. If you want to soar with eagles, don't swim with ducks. The truth is, change threatens those who are comfortable with the status quo. Some people will try to pull you back, not out of malice, but because your transformation makes them uncomfortable. Recognizing this is the first step to protecting your energy. Growth requires letting go of relationships that stifle your potential. It's not easy to distance yourself from people who have been part of your life. But I realized that keeping toxic influences around was like trying to sail with an anchor tied to your boat. Instead, I sought out those who uplifted me, challenged me, and inspired me to dream bigger. This shift in my social circle was transformative. Think of your relationships as soil for your growth. Surround yourself with people who encourage your progress, and you'll find yourself growing faster than you thought possible. It's not about cutting everyone off, but about prioritizing those who align with your goals and values. Sometimes the best way to inspire others is by focusing on your journey first. By elevating yourself, you give others permission to do the same. The road to success is clearer when you walk it with the right companions. Change often feels like stepping into a storm. It's chaotic, lonely, and unsettling. When we were building Alibaba, there were countless moments of doubt and fear. The brain's natural instinct is to retreat to what's familiar, but real growth requires embracing the unknown. I've learned that chaos is the birthplace of transformation. Loneliness is a companion to change, but it doesn't have to be your enemy. During my early days, I often reminded myself, when you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. Your vision becomes your anchor, guiding you through the waves of uncertainty. It's what kept me going when the path ahead seemed impossible. Chaos, surprisingly, holds the seeds of order. It's in the confusion that you begin to see new possibilities and creative solutions. I remember when nothing seemed to work for Alibaba, yet those struggles forced us to innovate. Embracing the discomfort of uncertainty allowed us to find clarity and direction. One of the best ways to navigate this stage is by breaking the journey into smaller, manageable pieces. Focus on what you can control today instead of worrying about the entire road ahead. Each small win builds confidence and makes the chaos more manageable. In time, the storm settles and you realize it was shaping you all along. The loneliness fades as you connect with others who share your vision, and the chaos transforms into a path of purpose. This is the beauty of reinvention. It's not about avoiding the storm, but learning to dance in the rain. Routines are the backbone of transformation. When I started Alibaba, I quickly realized that without structure, even the best ideas could fall apart. So I developed habits that kept me grounded, focused, and moving forward. Whether it was waking up early to brainstorm or setting aside time to learn something new, routines became my anchors during turbulent times. New routines are like planting flags in uncharted territory. They provide stability as you navigate change. Take something simple, maybe a daily walk to clear your mind or a dedicated hour to work on your goals. These habits may seem small, but they create a rhythm that helps you stay aligned with your vision. The beauty of routines is that they free your mind for bigger decisions. When your day has structure, you spend less energy on trivial choices and more on the things that matter. It's like building a solid foundation for a house. You don't see it every day, but it holds everything together. When I established clear routines for my team, we found ourselves more productive and less stressed. Consistency is the secret weapon of successful routines. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up daily. Even when progress feels slow, those small, repetitive actions compound over time. I often say, if you do it long enough, it becomes part of who you are. That's how powerful routines can be. When you embrace new routines, they become the framework of your new identity. They help turn chaos into order and dreams into reality. With each habit you build, you're not just managing your time, you're shaping the person you want to become. Success isn't always measured by grand achievements. It often begins with small wins that light up your path. For me, it was the first time we made a sale on Alibaba. It wasn't much, but it proved that our idea worked. That moment of joy fueled our determination to keep going. Happiness, even in small doses, is a powerful motivator. Your first point of happiness is like a signpost that tells you, you're on the right track. It might be a compliment from a mentor, a breakthrough in your skill, or even just the realization that you're no longer stuck. These moments validate your efforts and show you that change is possible. What makes these early wins so special is their simplicity. They don't need to be monumental to be meaningful. Maybe you formed a new habit or achieved a small milestone. It's proof that the seeds you've planted are starting to grow. Celebrate these victories, no matter how small they seem. Happiness is contagious. When you experience those first sparks of joy, it inspires you to aim higher and do more. It's a cycle. Success leads to confidence, which leads to more success. This is why I often encourage people to focus on progress rather than perfection. Progress, no matter how small, is a step closer to the life you envision. Finding happiness early in your journey keeps you motivated for the challenges ahead. It reminds you why you started and gives you the strength to push forward. Success is built on these moments. They're the foundation of everything great that follows. Once you've gained momentum, it's time to think big. Early in Alibaba's journey, we dreamed of creating a platform that could connect small businesses across the globe. It was an ambitious goal, especially given the limited resources we had. But dreaming big pushes you beyond your limits, forcing you to innovate and grow. Big goals are like a compass. They give direction to your efforts and inspire you to reach higher. Maybe you want to start your own business, write a book, or change industries entirely. These dreams might seem far off, but they're the fuel that keeps you moving. As I always say, if you don't dream big, how will you know what's possible? Achieving big goals isn't about giant leaps. It's about consistent, focused action. Break them into smaller, actionable steps. For Alibaba, this meant focusing on one market at a time, one product at a time. By narrowing our focus, we were able to build something scalable and sustainable. Surround yourself with people who share your vision. A great dream is amplified when others believe in it too. Whether it's your team, family, or friends, their support will make the journey less daunting and more rewarding. Together, you'll find strength in moments when the goal seems too far away. Big goals aren't just about reaching the destination, they're about who you become along the way. Every challenge you face, every skill you develop, and every lesson you learn adds to your transformation. So set your sights high and let your ambitions guide you forward. Breaking free from your old life requires more than just a new environment. It demands new habits and new ways of thinking. Early in my career, I saw many people try to change their circumstances without changing themselves. They'd switch jobs or start new projects but fall back into the same routines, achieving little progress. That's when I realized, if you don't change, nothing changes. Past patterns are like invisible chains. They hold you back even when you think you've moved forward. To break free, start by identifying behaviors that no longer serve you. Maybe it's procrastination, fear of failure, or a tendency to overthink. Once you see these patterns for what they are, you can begin replacing them with habits that align with your new goals. Building new habits is like learning a new language. It takes time and practice, but the rewards are worth it. For me, letting go of old patterns meant challenging my beliefs about what was possible. I stopped focusing on what I lacked and started focusing on what I could do with what I had. That shift changed everything. Sometimes breaking old patterns means distancing yourself from people or environments that reinforce them. It's not about blaming others, but recognizing what helps or hinders your growth. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you is one of the best ways to stay committed to your transformation. True change happens from the inside out. By breaking free from the past, you create space for something new and extraordinary to take its place. The life you're building depends on the choices you make today. Change isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become. The version of me who started Alibaba is very different from the person I am today. I've grown not only as a leader, but as a learner. Transformation requires accepting that the old version of you has served its purpose and making room for the new you to thrive. Becoming a new person involves adopting habits and mindsets that align with your goals. It's not just about doing things differently, it's about thinking differently. For instance, when I stopped seeing failure as something to fear and started seeing it as a teacher, my perspective shifted completely. That change made all the difference in my journey. Sometimes embracing change feels like stepping into unfamiliar territory. But that's where growth happens. You'll face resistance, both from yourself and others, but persistence will prove them wrong. Remember, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. This mindset has been my guide through every transformation. As you grow, you'll notice that the new habits and routines you've built start to feel natural. What once felt challenging becomes part of who you are. This is the point where change transforms into identity, and identity transforms into momentum. It's not just about achieving a new life, It's about maintaining it. Being a new person means living with intention and embracing the possibilities ahead. It's not about leaving everything behind, but about carrying forward the lessons and strengths that will help you succeed. This is where the real adventure begins. Big transformations often start with small improvements. I learned this early in my career, watching how tiny changes made a big difference over time. At Alibaba, we didn't become a global powerhouse overnight. It was the result of consistent incremental improvements in everything we did, from customer service to technology. Progress is a journey, not a leap. Improving gradually means focusing on the small wins. Maybe it's dedicating 15 minutes a day to learning a new skill, improving your communication with a colleague, or adopting a healthier habit. These micro changes may seem insignificant, but they compound over time, creating a ripple effect that transforms your life. The secret lies in balance. Don't just focus on professional goals. Invest in your health, relationships, and personal growth too. When I started prioritizing all areas of my life, I found that success in one area often fueled success in another. For instance, taking care of my health gave me more energy to lead my team and innovate. Consistency is the glue that holds gradual improvement together. Even when progress feels slow, the key is to keep going. As I like to remind my team, small steps lead to big results. The important thing is to move forward, even if it's just one step at a time. Over time, these gradual improvements lead to exponential growth. You won't just see changes in your circumstances, you'll see changes in yourself. And that's the ultimate goal, to become a better version of yourself every single day.
Jack Ma delivered a speech that left the audience inspired and reflective, showcasing his unique ability to connect life lessons with practical strategies for success. Drawing from his personal experiences, Jack Ma presented a narrative that was not only relatable, but also transformative. His wisdom highlighted the importance of reinvention and the courage needed to embrace change. The journey, as described by Jack Ma, begins with a pivotal decision, the moment when one decides to take control and envision a better future. Jack Ma spoke about how every great transformation starts with the power of a single decision. Reflecting on his own life, he shared how he turned rejection and failure into opportunities for growth. He reminded the audience that the courage to make a change, no matter how daunting, is the first step toward a new reality. Jack Ma emphasized that this decision cuts away the distractions of indecision, setting a person firmly on the path to reinvention. Jack Ma also explored the profound value of learning new skills as a foundation for change. He described how stepping outside one's comfort zone is a necessary discomfort, one that leads to mastery and self-confidence. By citing his journey from being an English teacher to becoming a technology leader, Jack Ma illustrated the rewards of consistent learning. He encouraged his listeners to embrace every challenge as an opportunity to acquire tools that would shape their futures. The power of persistence emerged as one of the most impactful themes of Jack Ma's address. He likened the process of reinvention to the takeoff of an airplane, requiring immense energy and focus at the start, but eventually leading to a smoother, sustained flight. Jack Ma's personal anecdotes about the struggles and triumphs of Alibaba's early days highlighted the critical role of discipline and consistency in achieving long-term success. True success goes beyond accolades, wealth, or recognition. Jack Ma has often emphasized that the ultimate achievement is finding inner peace and purpose. Reflecting on his journey with Alibaba, Jack Ma spoke about how reaching the pinnacle of financial success only held meaning when it aligned with a deeper sense of fulfillment. Success, as he described it, is not a destination, but a continuous process of growth and gratitude. Jack Ma's perspective on success challenges conventional notions. He believes that true success is achieved when you no longer chase what you lack, but start cherishing what you've already gained. Whether it's meaningful relationships, personal growth, or the impact you've had on others, Jack Ma emphasized that these intangible assets are the real markers of success. Gratitude played a significant role in Jack Ma's vision of success. He encouraged the audience to reflect on their journey and find reasons to be thankful at every stage. This practice not only fosters a positive mindset, but also inspires others to pursue success with integrity and purpose. For Jack Ma, Gratitude is not a passive emotion, but an active force that fuels further growth. The final and most critical lesson Jack Ma imparted was the necessity of action. All plans, dreams, and ambitions remained dormant without the courage to take that first step. Reflecting on his early days, Jack Ma shared how the decision to start Alibaba wasn't driven by certainty or resources, but by the willingness to try. This step, though small, set the foundation for everything that followed. Taking the first step is a powerful act of self-belief. Jack Ma described it as the moment when you move from wishing to doing. He urged the audience to break free from overthinking and to embrace action, no matter how imperfect it may seem. Every journey, he explained, starts with a single move forward, and that move has the potential to change everything. Jack Ma also spoke about the value of simplicity in getting started. He encouraged people to begin with manageable goals, like researching a new skill or writing down a list of aspirations. These small actions may feel insignificant, but they create momentum. Once you've begun, the path ahead becomes clearer, and the process of reinvention starts to unfold naturally. Fear often stands as the greatest barrier to action, but Jack Ma shared how reframing fear as a teacher can make all the difference. Each step, no matter how small, is an opportunity to learn and grow. For Jack Ma, the key is not to wait for the perfect moment, but to create progress by moving forward. The lesson was clear. The first step is the gateway to possibility. Jack Ma left the audience with a challenge to start immediately, to turn ideas into actions, and to trust in the process of growth. As he often said, never underestimate the power of starting today. Jack Ma's teachings served as a masterclass in transformation, inspiring everyone to take control of their lives and embrace the journey of reinvention. His insights went beyond words, offering a practical roadmap for creating meaningful change. But now, the power lies in your hands. What will you do with the wisdom you've gained? Will you take the first step today, even if it feels small? Think about the lessons shared. The importance of making a decisive choice to change, creating actionable plans, developing new skills, and surrounding yourself with the right people. Which of these resonated with you the most? Comment below and share how you plan to apply these ideas in your own life. Remember, action is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. This isn't just about watching a video or reading advice. It's about putting it into practice. Whenever you need motivation or guidance, revisit this content. Let it remind you of what's possible when you dare to dream and act on those dreams. And if this inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need the same spark to start their journey. If you're ready for more transformative ideas, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single insight. Your next step? Watch our upcoming video. This one habit will completely transform your life in 30 days. Jack Ma's advice: to dive even deeper into strategies for success and personal growth. This journey doesn't end here. It's only the beginning.